You couldn't just say, that's a pretty good idea, Jeff, but we're gonna try this route. No, it's like, oh, that's what you did? Well, that's fucking lame. I fucking hate you.
Oh, Lord.
Somewhere in there's an intro. Welcome to another edition of The World Be Extras. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron, and I don't know about you, but I never actually got around to watching the third Fear the Walking Dead. We're coming up on a fourth in a few days.
I guess it was kind of scary because it did scare us away from watching the show.
I guess so.
Maybe not in a good way.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of miss Junkie Dup, though.
Fear the fucking marital and child raising problems.
Yes. I'll tell you what, fear you out of having kids is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't need help in that department. But yeah, it was successful in that manner. I will give it that one. So we've got some good news, some bad news. It's kind of funny.
And then just some news.
We originally were gonna be recording earlier in the week, so I had all of our shit ready to go, and we ended up not recording for a couple days. And then, of course, all of the news happened. So all of my work was just wasted and
this
worthless.
Episode turned out at least twice the size of the original.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. And
this makes me sad. This just hurts.
I think we need to have a little send off for Pacific Rim.
Just a moment of respect.
Makes me sad. We will not be getting a Pacific Rim 2, more than likely. Of all the fucking horse shit, that we're getting sequels and reboots to.
Not Pacific Rim.
The one thing we want the sequel to, of course, gets... Well, okay, give them the details, Ron.
Okay, so... Pacific Rim 1 happens. Turns out to be the best Godzilla or Transformers movie. Actually, you know what? I'm going to call it the best Transformers-Godzilla crossover ever made. I know it's going out on a limb, but then apparently they were getting ready to start shooting this November. The release date was August 4th, 2017, but due to money, for whatever God-forsaken reason, that is now basically pushed back or canceled altogether is the exact words on /film.
It's just so weird, because if you remember, back when they announced they were doing a sequel, they announced a comic series, a cartoon, they're making it its own little franchise, and then to go from that to, we might not even make it, it's what the fuck happened?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Universal, and I don't know what it is. Apparently the first one, and I didn't fact check these numbers, but this number's from...
We never do.
I know, but this is from /film. Apparently the first Pacific Rim made $411 million worldwide. So why not a sequel?
So
I mean, that's a pretty good chunk of change.
It cost, roughly in the 175, 200-ish area to make? That's
$190 million.
That's typically before advertising. So usually you can chunk on another $100 million.
They doubled their money.
Well, they still probably made money, but you have to add on an additional at least $100 million for advertising. So let's say that it costs some extra $100 million in advertising. We'll round it up. They still made $100 million profit. So it's why the fuck isn't it happening?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And what did you say this was? It was Universal, right?
Yeah.
This is the company, if it's Universal, who made how much money off of Straight Outta Compton? How much money off of Jurassic World just on its own?
Dude, Jurassic World killed it.
All the Fast and Furious sequels that have made a shit ton of money,
they always hit big.
And it's not like Hollywood has a whole lot of fresh, new, original ideas going. So why not make a sequel to something that made you money?
Yeah, and especially with, there was Godzilla. There was all the announcements with Godzilla versus King Kong. They had talked about doing the King Kong Skull Island movie. We're getting monster movies. Why not throw a fucking Jaeger in there?
But you know what we are getting? We're going to get 7 more minutes of screen time with Godzilla, man.
Oh, God. Shoot me now.
Yeah.
Because I have to see it, as much as I don't want to.
Yeah, you have to see it. I mean, it's a shame. I love Guillermo del Toro too. So I mean, a del Toro movie with giant mechs fighting aliens, like it's just. I mean, like now, I'll be the first to tell you the first movie is dumb, but it's what Transformers should have been. It's dumb fun.
It's what Godzilla should have been. It's what anything in that genre, anything giant should be.
It's goofy. It's like we saw it at the theater.
Yeah.
Fantastic theater movie. You know, it's a movie where it's just designed to be dumb, lighthearted fun.
Yeah.
And just to see it, I mean, obviously it's not good news. It could have been worse. They could have just outright announced it as canceled. That happens a lot in Hollywood. Every 5 minutes they're saying this will never happen. But it's not good, and it makes me sad.
And the longer that they delay it, the less interest the crowd or the audience is going to have in it. I mean, look at what happened with Sin City. A Dame to Kill For came out. The first one did pretty good at box office, and then A Dame to Kill For came out and no one cared because it was like, what, 12 years later?
25, it felt like it. The weird thing too was like, you know, you're saying like the further it gets away, the less interest. Even if it had gone ahead as planned, and you say it was going to be like 2017, so they were already going to have like a 4-year gap, because didn't it come out in 2013, if I'm not mistaken?
I believe so.
I think it came out the same summer as Man of Steel, which was 2013.
You're like a living IMDb.
Yeah, I spend way too much time on that website. But yeah.
How many arguments do you get into to spend that much time on IMDb?
Well, they're usually with you, so you should know. But yeah,
you're welcome, IMDb.
You're welcome for all of those delicious hits. But yeah, we're gonna move on to another potential good or bad piece of news. You know, we really don't know with this, but
either way, it's definitely rumor mill mostly.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan. You know, if you don't know who Christopher Nolan is, the fuck are you doing?
Famously of some indie films, from most lovably known as the Dark Knight trilogy.
It was the ones with the guy dressed as the Bat and the Clown. I'm selling it poorly, but it's a good movie.
Check it out if you haven't seen it.
He is in talks to, we don't really know what the hell he's going to do associated with it, but the movie itself is the Akira anime that they're trying to turn into a trilogy of live action films, which, you know, is it's one of the most famous. I haven't seen it, but it is one of the most famous names. The people should know by now, we don't play or see half the shit we talk about.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it either. I always wanted to, but I was a kid. Every time I saw it on the Blockbuster shelf, and my dad would be like, "No, that's for adults." And
what is this? Blockbuster
fossil. And then by the time I grew up, I'd just honestly forgotten that it existed, but I'd always heard about how great Akira is. Now, the good news for the Akira films, the proposed Akira films, is that it's Warner Brothers behind it. So, I mean, they are ramping up to take a lot of shit seriously right now. So they've got the money. You know, they've got the pull to get whoever they want to make any movie they want. So that's good. They wanted to, like you said, they wanted to turn it into a trilogy. The big rumor, though, the one that broke Twitter for a little bit, was Christopher Nolan being attached to the film. Now, depending on what sources you look at, he's either definitely attached, has never heard of it, or is from, again, on Slash Film, he may be a producer capacity.
Or he may be living on an island counting his Batman money.
Exactly. I mean, they have an update in here, and this update was, this was updated the day it was trending on Twitter, where multiple sources, the author says, have told him that Nolan actually has no part at all in the development of this. But like I said, if you go to was it Nerd Tits or IGN, like it's Christopher Nolan all over this movie. So
well, I mean, even if he's like bare minimum just a regular producer, it's good news for the movie, because I mean, we give Dark Knight Rises shit all the time. The dude's made one bad movie amidst what, like 12 or 13 good to really fucking good ones.
I haven't seen it yet either, but some people argue Interstellar wasn't any good.
It's not bad. It's nothing special.
The thing pushing me away is Matthew McConaughey, not Nolan. But
well, you still need to watch True Detective. That'll change your opinion on Matthew, because it did it for me. At least.
I can foresee McConaughey in space if I watch. If I watch True Detective, I can buy him in space.
No, you can just buy him as a legitimate actor. Like, he was a joke to me. And then I watched him in True Detective, and like, he earned all of the Emmy nominations.
I still need to look up on YouTube him talking for like 10 minutes on how he's his own childhood hero. I'm not even fucking joking, dude.
I can't think of him without thinking Dazed and Confused. That's when when I think Matthew McConaughey, I think, I keep getting older, they stay the same age. That's all I think about is Dazed and Confused quotes. But how the fuck do we get on Matthew McConaughey? Back to Akira. Interstellar.
Breaking news, Matthew McConaughey to play Akira.
I'd watch it.
I don't even know if that's a character. That's a fucking city for all I know.
Yeah, we were so fucking ignorant to this news story. No, but Interstellar, I didn't find it bad. But what it was forgettable. It's one of those, you watch it one time, 6 months later you don't even remember what the fuck it was about.
My favorite scene that was all over the internet, though, was when he was crying watching the Star Wars trailer.
Bravo whoever edited that. But
tell me that made it into the final cut of the movie, Jeff.
I wish. So maybe by the time this gets made into a movie 10 years from now, me and Ron will actually have watched the Akira movie. And then we'll actually be able to commentate on it. But yeah, this is all rumor mill. Probably won't hear about it for a while. One interesting tidbit, though, was they didn't say what his movie was going to be, but they have dated Christopher Nolan's next film.
Yes.
And it was 2017? Is that
July 2017. Yeah. Now, the article points out that it's most likely not Akira, for considering there's no development on this movie at all. To have a release date that soon. But that's another thing in the rumor mill, another cog in it, is that it's definitely Akira, so just take everything that you read about Akira with a grain of salt right now, because basically, as far as we can tell and all the research that we've done is
all the research.
What's
Akira? Is it a city? Is it
I was looking this up pretty good though, because I said Nolan would be a big fucking name for an already big name studio to attach to it.
Nolan is,
and it makes sense. It seems like they kind of own him right now or something. His name is on everything they're doing recently.
Nolan, even after Dark Knight Rises and Interstellar, is still pretty much the closest thing we have to like a Spielberg right now.
Yeah.
He's a name to where all they have to do is, in the trailer, splash his name up on the screen, 50 million, just off that name alone. So, it's...
Which is good, because that's probably what it costs to get the name on the screen. So
this is true.
But yeah, that's basically all we've got, is just, keep in mind that there's nothing confirmed about Akira right now, and anytime you read anything. But it is interesting rumor, and I hope that it is true if they're going to make a movie off of it. 3 movies.
I hope that by the time it comes out, we'll have seen the anime, so we know what we're talking about.
I need to get my hands on it, and then you need to come over and we'll watch it. Because, I have yet to hear anything bad about it. Yeah, and I heard it holds up.
That's one of those, Cowboy Bebop, where even non-anime fans have seen it and, are all about it. So, I'm sure it's... if just the fact that it's being talked about being made into a trilogy with Christopher Nolan attached to it in any way, even as a rumor, it's a big deal, Yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, shit, it was a big deal when they announced they wanted to make a movie at all. Remember that? That broke Twitter also.
Yeah. So, yeah.
There's a lot of shit breaking Twitter these days. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in this. We shall see how it goes. But yeah, we have another adaptation to talk about, and that is the live-action adaptation of The Jungle Book.
Now, I was shocked when we watched this trailer, Jeff, because we watched it for the first time before we recorded this episode, and I had already read that, it was dark as fuck, basically. And this trailer is intense.
What I took away from it, who stole it's a trailer, but who stole the show from me was Scarlett Johansson's voiceover. She's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that was pretty awesome. If you haven't seen this trailer, definitely check it out. Do not write off this movie. Like, I had zero interest in this movie until I watched this trailer.
Yeah, with this one, maybe because it's just I've never been a big Jungle Book fan, but when you just look at it on paper, Jon Favreau's directing, Scarlett Johansson's in it, Bill Murray, Idris Elba, like they have a fantastic Christopher Walken. They have a great cast. So yeah, my interest level definitely raised for this. This is probably still not one I would go rush out to the theater to watch just because of what it is, but I would gladly watch this for free on Netflix.
Ben Kingsley, Idris Elba.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley. I hadn't even forgotten he was in it too.
Yeah, dude. No, it's.
I will check this out. I do not know if it's something I would rush out to see, but I will check it out for sure now. What is it? One?
I don't know if this is the same kid. I remember. I need to look this up. I remember when they first announced this movie. Whoever it was they were picking from Mowgli, it was going to be his first movie.
Really?
Yeah. So I need to look up if that's still the case. But all I know is The Bare Necessities is going to be in our heads forever because they go out on the trailer with them like humming it.
Bill Murray
has Blue.
Yeah, it was a great way to end it too. That was a beautiful touch.
Especially for how dark and sinister the fucking trailer was.
It's like Jungle Book brought to you by Christopher Nolan.
Like, you know how Gone Girl like cures any attachment that you have to Rosamund Pike?
Oh my god.
I feel like Scarlett Johansson's like being the fucking snake, and this trailer was enough to like cure me of any affection I would have had for her.
Well, let's not go that far.
Yeah, I don't know. That was pretty. Like, she was the sinister part of the trailer, and then Shere Khan just kicking ass to the whole thing.
For sure.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pretty good.
All right, so we'll move on to the next topic. And you remember earlier when we were talking about with Pacific Rim 2, all of those sequels that we're getting that we didn't ask for, missing out on ones we want.
Right.
Well, this is one of those in the first category. Mary Poppins. Because that's what we need in the year 2015. More motherfucking Mary Poppins. Hollywood assholes.
I don't know if it's better or worse that it's a fucking sequel.
I don't think if it had been a reboot or a sequel,
we don't need it either way.
First of all,
they already tried to fucking Nanny McPhee.
The only people who will hear about this news that know what it's about or have seen the movie will be annoyed. Yeah. And all of the kids that it's going to be probably marketed for have no idea what the fuck Mary Poppins even is.
And I think that's the point, to be honest with you.
But then why wouldn't it be a reboot? I don't understand.
Because is it in the Disney Vault?
I'm sure it is. That like everything's in the Disney
Vault. That's probably why. That's probably why it's a sequel.
They just want to sell more of the DVD?
Because they've already made their money back umpteen times over on the original. So
I just think this
a sequel is probably going to make them $1 bajillion either way, whether it sucks or not, and then they're going to release the first one out of the vault.
I don't know that,
and then that's all profit.
I honestly don't know that it's going to make the money that they think it will, because Mary Poppins right now isn't the same as like making a live action Beauty and the Beast.
How would you do? Who the fuck would you get from Mary Poppins? Or Dick Van Dyke's character.
Okay, well, I actually just thought of a Mary Poppins that would actually kind of make you want to watch the movie. But Haley Atwell, I think, would actually be a very good Mary Poppins.
I don't know if I'd see it still.
Even with Haley Atwell?
As much as I love her, I don't know.
Even if it wouldn't be a draw for you personally, I do think she'd do a good job just because she doesn't.
Yeah, she would, but there's no fucking need for this movie, Jeff.
No. I'm not defending this movie.
No, I know you're not.
You just heard me cursing it.
No, I know you're not. I'm just saying. What's the point?
Your point is, even with Haley Atwell, you still have zero interest, which is like.
I tell you what, I would watch though. If you're gonna pull Marvel people into it, why not just do Clark Gregg as Mary Poppins?
I'd watch it.
He would do it.
I'd watch it.
You know he'd fucking do it.
You know he'd fucking do it. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where it's just like the running theme of this.
And the other thing that pisses me off is, okay, I haven't given two shits about Mary Poppins since I was a child.
Even as a child, it was never one, like, even...
But at the same time, it's, like, such a deep part of my childhood because I was so young that I'm just like, fuck you for even trying to go back there. You know? That's offensive. I'm offended.
It is one of those where, even though...
I mean, you've already taken Turtles from me. You've already taken Transformers from me. You've already taken, everything. You're probably about to take Masters of the Universe from me. So, yeah, just go ahead and fucking take Mary Poppins at this point.
It's just so strange. I mean, I totally 110% get all of their live action adaptations of the 90s cartoons and 80s cartoons and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like Beauty and the Beast is a licensed print money.
Yeah.
And
which I'm actually kind of looking forward to that one. I'm not gonna lie.
But it's just like Mary Poppins is such a deep pull where it's
it's out of left field.
Yeah, I don't like. I think. I mean, since it's Disney and they'll put a lot of money behind it and they'll advertise the shit out of it, it'll probably still be profitable. I don't think it's anywhere near what they think it's going to be.
Yeah.
That's just my take on it. But yeah,
I think that'll probably be the only thing Mary Poppins we see for a long time.
When the fuck did Mary Poppins even come out? Was it the 50s or the 60s?
Shit if I know.
You're going to look it up?
Yeah, I'll just look it up.
More of those delicious IMDb hits.
At this point, it's just our podcast spirit animal.
There's probably a lot of podcasts.
Let's see. If I type in Mary fucking Poppins, it should pop it up, right?
I wouldn't recommend putting that into Google.
1964.
So 50 years?
So it was already 21 years old when I was fucking born.
They need to.
So, yeah, that's like 51 years old.
They need to pick something else out of the well. Yeah.
I mean, sure, after 51 years, it's probably time, but no one gives a shit.
It would have been a hard sell even remaking it in like the 90s, and that would have been 20 years before now.
I mean, come on. How are you going to replace Julie Andrews? I don't
know.
I don't know. We've already beat this horse to death.
Yeah, we have. But yeah, we're going to move over to the comic-related section of the movie news. And the first one up in the news docket is Gambit lost its director. It was Rupert Wyatt, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He was originally attached. He's been attached for a while now. Apparently, I never got the details on why, but the schedule for shooting, the schedule got pushed back, and it ended up conflicting with one of his other projects he'd already been signed on to, so he left the project. He wasn't fired. A lot of times when you see directors being changed, it's, a red flag. I didn't really see this as much of a red flag, especially since they're still pretty far out from actually starting production, I think. I think right now Fox is all over Deadpool, trying to make sure that is a hit first before they do anything else.
They need Deadpool to hit, which I think it will.
They need Deadpool to hit in a big bad way with Hugh Jackman's time running out, and they need this to hit in a big bad way because I don't know if you saw this earlier too today, but it was either today or yesterday. But they've started planning on how to bring Channing Tatum's Gambit and Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds into X-Men. Did you read this?
No, I didn't. It doesn't surprise me. But
they need to do it because they're not going to. Okay, like in their current,
it's all about the shared universes now, anyway.
Yeah,
but Fox needs it is Fox, right?
Yeah,
because X-Men. Yeah, Fox needs something desperately, man. Especially after Fantastic Four.
Because when you think about it, in their current X-Men regime with like the First Class guys, the biggest draws are McAvoy and Fassbender. And I don't know how much longer McAvoy would do it. They can't afford Fassbender anymore after his current contract because there's a good chance he's about to win an Oscar for the Steve Jobs movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even right now, before he's, potentially won an Oscar, he's going to be starring in Assassin's Creed. Like, he has blown up bigger than the X-Men movies.
And by the time Assassin's Creed comes out, too, his name will be something big enough that it will draw a crowd just on that.
Yeah, what he is right now is he's kind of, beloved in the film geek culture and the film critic aspect of, but he's about to become a household name, I think. Where it's like similar to Jennifer Lawrence too. They can't afford Jennifer Lawrence anymore. Yeah. After her current contract runs up, so yeah, they need Gambit and Deadpool to be their flagships, which we shall see. Haven't seen anything of Gambit yet because they haven't started anything, but Deadpool looks awesome, so it's trending upward. So we can hope for the best. But yeah,
like I said, there is. No pun intended. I feel like Gambit is a bit of a gamble, but it does have some things going in its favor, which we have talked about several times on this show. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to more news coming from that, especially casting news since they've You know, we got Channing Tatum down, but we don't have anyone else down, I don't think.
I never heard if they officially signed on that Leah Seydoux. I forget how. You remember we ran an article a couple weeks ago? Yeah, I don't remember hearing confirmation about that. Or, I mean, hell, I don't know if they're. I mean, this is just speculation. Who I'd like to see be the villain. Or maybe they should save him for like later X-Men stuff. But do you know Mr. Sinister? I would like to see Mr. Sinister done as a villain in something.
I know the name.
He's like the once you see the image of him, you'll probably remember him from something. You know, did you ever watch the X-Men cartoon in the 90s?
Yes.
He was popping up in the cartoon all the time. So,
but the problem is, it's been the 90s since I watched that cartoon.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It wasn't as good as Batman or Spider-Man, but I liked it. I watched it quite a bit as a kid. That was my first introduction.
Before we move on from this, okay, yeah, I know Mr. Sinister. Yeah, that'd be really cool, actually. Before we move on from Gambit, though, just real quick off the top of your head, who would you pick if you could pick a director for it?
As a director,
that you'd like to see.
It's tough because, gosh, like Marvel has half the directors of Hollywood locked up with something.
Right.
Did you have anyone in mind?
I don't really know who. I honestly think if you're going to go out on a limb to do Gambit and get Channing Tatum and everything, that get an up and comer.
The people
I think would be good.
The people. Now I don't know their names, but the people that you see pop up in these type of articles that grab my attention are the up-and-comers from all of the best TV shows.
Yes.
Like, if they announced that, like, one of the main writers from Game of Thrones or, like, Breaking Bad was attached to it.
I was thinking someone from Breaking Bad could actually make a pretty good Gambit movie.
Those types are usually the ones that grab my attention. So I would seek out one of the talented writers or directors.
Could you imagine anything X-Men related with a slight Breaking Bad feel to it, dude?
Yeah, they.
I mean,
you haven't seen it yet, but I thought
just like everything else we talk about.
I thought Days of Future Past had a pretty noticeably darker tone to it, and Apocalypse, just because it's fucking Apocalypse, I'm sure it's going to be darker just by nature.
Yeah.
So yeah, for a Channing Tatum led Gambit movie, I'm actually pretty interested in it, especially if Deadpool hits pretty big.
Yeah,
I'm going to be, because we give
Deadpool would be a license to print money, as you would say. So
we
whether it sucks or not, it's going to be a license to print money.
Which I mean, shit, if it's half as good as that trailer, I'm already in love. But what I was going to say, we the shared universe thing, I take big issue with if it doesn't make sense any way, shape, or form.
If it's just a money grab.
Like Ghostbusters doesn't need a universe.
No.
Transformers doesn't really need a universe.
You could if you did it very carefully, but they won't. They fucked up everything with that franchise.
I have no issue with like Fox doing shared universe with the products they have. If they do it well.
That's the products they have left.
This is true.
Which is just the two, right?
Well, they never had...
I mean, X-Men is basically its own miniature Avengers. I mean, I'll give them that. But... It's just that and Fantastic Four, right? They don't have anything else, do they? Was Punisher theirs or Sony? And then it doesn't matter. They lost it, but
I think they had the. Who did Daredevil? Was it Fox originally that did Daredevil? Yeah, then they reverted back. I don't know. But, I mean, like you were saying, like how X-Men works as its own little universe, like with them talking about doing solo Gambit and Deadpool movies. Cause,
dude, you could spin movies out of that all day long.
Cause like, I don't have an issue with them doing shared universe, within their own X-Men titles. Yeah. Like we bitch about shared universe a lot, but it's fine. It's just a case by case basis.
Even if you only had X-Men, you could do what Marvel has done, intertwining all of the MCU movies. I mean, X-Men, that makes even more sense. I mean, X-Men, they're all fucking connected to each other.
Yeah, because X-Men is the
problem is they don't have Feige to do it.
Yeah. Did you see the Kevin Feige news about how he no longer has a boss outside of the main guy at Disney.
Yeah.
So now, it's already been so good, and now he has free
total
reign
control
to do whatever he wants and spend as much money as he wants.
If it's in his head, it will be in our brains before long.
God, I can't wait for Civil War, man. I want that fucking movie.
So many good things to come. And this is coming right as we're getting ready to go into our new generation of the MCU. You know, Spider-Man and everything coming.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, dude, the dude was already a genius with like his hands tied behind his back.
Yeah.
And now just like go crazy. I can't wait. But this actually segues nicely into our next story.
Speaking of the MCU.
Yeah, we're going to move over to some MCU news, and that is that Rachel McAdams, famous from currently True Detective Season 2, famous from Mean Girls. She's been in a ton of Sherlock Holmes. She was in the first one. And she has confirmed at the Toronto International Film Festival her role in Doctor Strange. She did not confirm who she's playing, but she confirmed without a doubt she will be in the movie. And how fucking good is that Doctor Strange cast?
Dude, Doctor Strange, period, is shaping up to be... It's probably, I don't know, outside of Civil War, it'll probably be my favorite property out of the stuff to come, I think. Very
interested in Black Panther, but the one that really grabs my attention outside of Civil War, which is Avengers 2.5.
Yeah.
Out of the like, this is grabbing my attention the way Guardians did.
Yeah.
To where it's something that, you know, they're kind of selling you, even though you really don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, so no, it's shaping up to be really good. Any ideas who she would be playing?
They had some speculation on Nerdist and IG and other sites like that from people who are more plugged into the comic than I am. Mm-hmm. Since I'm not, I love the character, but it's kind of like Ghost Rider, where I like the character, but I've never really delved into reading it that much. So I couldn't tell you, honestly. I do know she's a very talented actress. I mean, just her...
Because I feel like you wouldn't get her for a side character, so, you know, I don't know if she would be, you know, one of the sorcerers under the Sorcerer Supreme. Like, you know, that group that's with Baron Mordo when he first gets there.
Because like
I said, you don't just go out and get her and then put her as one of the doctors in the hospital or something,
no,
you know?
she's gonna be one of the leads, and since it's a movie, they have to have a love interest, so I'm sure they're going to in some way... I mean, even though it's kind of annoying that Hollywood feels a need in every movie to have a love interest...
Well, you gotta attract the girls to the movie, right? That's not sexist at all.
She'll probably be... Well, I mean, shit, that's how CW runs its entire network.
Yeah.
You know, it's no secret.
I mean, obviously it works since they keep coming up with shit and raking it in, so...
But yeah, she's great. I mean, she now joins... Cumberbatch, Ejiofor, I think they officially announced did Mads Mikkelsen get offered, or did he sign on? I forget. As the villain. God, we're so terrible at remembering our own news report.
Well, when we reported it, I think it was reported that he'd signed on, but he hadn't talked about it. We had 2 roles that we reported on, that he was one James Bond, I think. Was that him?
No, what you're thinking
I'm getting shit confused now.
Well,
it's 26 episodes, Jeff.
We talked about how he was the villain in the first Craig Bond movie. I think that's what you're getting confused about.
That's right. I think it was the same time we had like Bond casting news and we had casting news for him. So
yeah,
it's, I don't know, 26 episodes. Goddammit,
I think
it's all blurring.
I think he's too street for James Bond. Throw that up.
Throwback.
But yeah, we're gonna move on to our next up story in the superhero / comic area, and that is, oh my god, this news. Once I read this, I was just like, take all my fucking money, take it now. Sean Bean.
I got a few of those texts from you this week.
There's some good. I mean, there's some like shitty, like depressing, like Pacific Rim 2 news, but there were some cool news articles this week that I'm glad we ended up having to push back the podcast a couple days. But Sean Bean, one of the biggest geek fan favorites you can find, known for Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, and he is potentially being sought after for the main villain role in the Wonder Woman solo movie, Ares. In addition to Sean Bean, they're also seeking out Ava Green, known for, actually, Casino Royale. She was the Bond girl in that. Okay. Currently, she's in Penny Dreadful. She's very good in that. She's amazing. She's being sought after for the role of Cersei. And if they can get even one of them, it'd be great news for this movie. 'Cause I'm already really, really interested in their direction they go with.
The only thing that would disappoint me about them casting Sean Bean is that I know he's gonna fucking die because he's Sean Bean, and then we'll never see him in the DCCU again.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you just got one movie with him as the main villain,
it'd be
that's
fucking
fantastic.
worth it. But
and the role would be perfect, you know.
Oh yeah,
he loves geeky properties,
and he loves being a villain.
He loves being a villain. He even played.
In fact, do you want to talk James Bond? He's one of my favorite James Bond villains. 006. Yeah, Alec Trevelyan.
Did you ever see Percy Jackson? He actually he plays Zeus, so he was
a good Zeus.
He was
and speaking of Bond, Pierce Brosnan was what the fuck?
He was the helper to Percy at the little village that they're in. I forget his name. He was a centaur, wasn't he?
No, he was in a wheelchair.
He was in a wheelchair because he was hiding that he's actually a centaur. Once they get, do you remember once they actually?
I guess that's true.
We got totally off topic talking about Percy Jackson, but yeah, I was saying I'm really, really intrigued by how they
should get to the point.
Thank you, Shia.
Sorry, Shia.
Short leash with Shia around. They're wanting
Just do it.
They're wanting him for Ares, who, if I'm not mistaken, has been the main villain they've used for Wonder Woman in the New 52.
Okay.
So, Sean Bean's one of those other, like, Gary Oldman, like, it doesn't matter how shitty the movie is, he's fantastic and everything, so I hope it's a real thing. Super excited to see how they go about Wonder Woman, because I've never really been interested in Wonder Woman, but they've done a really, really good job of generating interest, I think, with her character.
Yes, especially to the Batman v Supes trailer.
Very, very cool. But yeah, we're going to move over to the TV section. And first up, as we were just talking about CW a few minutes ago, but CW released just how fucking awesome their costume department can be.
I mean, we're talking HAWKGIRL, for crying out loud, Jeff. Why does that costume look as good as it does?
HAWKGIRL is even in HAWKMAN, because they show them both in this image we're talking about. They're even kind of hard to pull off in a cartoon.
Yeah.
But then, like, they did these live-action costumes, and you're just like, damn, dude. Like, it looks good.
Why do they look that good, and Diggle looks like Black Nito?
Because I think that, along with all of the fans, CW has given up on Arrow.
I think they have too.
That's when you look at Hawkman and Hawkgirl looking like they could be on set with Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck at the moment, and then you look at Diggle and he looks like he was setting up his cosplay for San Diego Comic-Con and got confused what he wanted to do. It's like, do I want to dress as Sons of Anarchy, or do I want to be Magneto? I'll just blend them together. I feel really bad for that actor, though. He got
I love
shit
him
on.
too.
But the images look great. Really, everything I've seen about Legends of Tomorrow has looked pretty cool.
I was going to say, the thing that I've kind of been excited for the most out of Legends of Tomorrow is Vandal Savage, number 1. And then tied for number 2 for me is HAWKGIRL, and then more Captain Cold. Those are each tied for number 2.
I also think it's cool we're going to see Rory as...
as a Time Master.
A Time Master.
Former Time Lord Companion turned Time Master. Rip Hunter.
Hey, I'm down with it. I mean, shit, it can't be worse than Arrow.
True.
Well, you know what's gonna... All I'm worried about with Legends of Tomorrow is I don't want what happened with Arrow to happen to the Flash.
Right.
If Arrow sucks, but Flash is still really good, and Legends of Tomorrow is, maybe okay, kind of fun to watch, I'm okay with that, because I've already kind of given up hope with Arrow.
Now, here's the thing, too. Here's a silver lining with Legends of Tomorrow. And that is, it sucks they've pulled some of the coolest characters away to do the show, but if the show's really good, then that's great, right? I mean, it's not like we were talking about the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spinoff where we're losing 2 fantastic characters and it leaves the rest of the stuff bland. Flash and them still have plenty of characters to use. Arrow, I don't give a fuck about anymore. But
Flash, adding to your point... Flash did a much better job at the by the ending of season 1 of not killing off half their damn cast.
Yes.
Like, that really hurt Arrow, I think, pulling those people away.
Yes.
Because they had already gotten rid of half their freaking cast. If they hadn't killed off so many people, I don't think we'd be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's when you kill off half your cast, and then half of the half goes to another show... it's hard to continue writing when you have 3 people on the show.
Yeah.
You know? It's just tough.
But, so, if Legends of Tomorrow is great, then fantastic. If it sucks, you can axe it and all those characters come back. You know, it's not like
God knows Arrow can use the help.
It's not like they're written out permanently
That's a
from
good
the
point.
show. You can just always say, yeah, we completed our mission and now we're back.
Although, I think I'm going to stand by what we've said multiple times. By the mid-season point of Arrow Season 4, if it's still irritating me and if it's still terrible, I'm done.
I might not even give it that long if it's irritating, dude. Because you're still talking like a season's worth of episodes. It's like 13 episodes to get to that point.
Fucking, it's
because they do like 25 episode seasons.
It's so upsetting thinking back to how excited we were when all the Deathstroke stuff was happening.
Oh god, I know.
We couldn't wait to watch it, and then, God, it was
the first thing we watched every week, me and Chris.
R.I.P. Arrow, potentially, man. Like we're talking about queuing up taps.
Yeah,
we might have to when we quit Arrow, dude.
I'm telling you. So, but no, Legends of Tomorrow, there's some stuff that looks kind of hokey in it, but the stuff that looks good looks really good. You know, and like I said, Vandal Savage, I'm excited to see Vandal Savage. And outside of a movie where, you know, they could potentially develop him and you could see quite a bit of him.
I always liked Vandal Savage, especially the Justice League cartoon. Like everything they did with
Justice
Vandal
League
Savage
cartoon
was
is
awesome.
and Justice League cartoon and Justice League Doom are the 2 reasons why I love Vandal Savage.
You know what's cool?
They're also probably the only 2 things he ever showed up in outside of comics.
And, you know what's funny about Justice League Doom? Not to get too off topic, but just for a second. Did you know in the comic series?
You should get to the point.
I just glared at Ron.
It wasn't me, dude. It's Shia LaBeouf's though. Over there getting pissed.
Glaring at Shia over there. In the comic, did you know who the villain was instead of Vandal Savage?
Who was that?
They changed him for the cartoon movie. It was Ra's al Ghul, actually.
Was it really?
Yeah, but then in...
Makes more sense, Vandal Savage, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, you know, it works both ways, but thinking about it, maybe you're kind of biased because you've already seen the Savage version.
Yeah,
I like
that's what I was going to say next, actually.
I like the idea of it with Vandal Savage better than I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that was a curious little, you know, change, like where they actually changed it and it made it better. Yeah. Rarely happens when you're adapting stuff. But yeah, we've got one more comic-related news article, and that is that Jessica Jones, the upcoming Netflix tier MCU product. Man, this show I can't freaking wait for. November. What was it? November 20th? Is that
November 20th?
We've gotten so far. What we're going to talk about first off, that is the teaser trailer. The teaser trailer, we were talking about it earlier, watching it. I think it's going to be, if not the full title sequence, like half of the title sequence.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some part of the title sequence. This teaser trailer served no purpose other than to give the release date. This was how they announced the release date. But it is a cool fucking trailer, the way it's animated and the way it's done.
And I absolutely love how it's all colored purple.
Yes.
This is very, very cool.
And I don't know, it's, you know, when I first heard about this show, I was like, okay, great. Another Marvel show, another R-rated MCU property, probably. That's cool. But then Breaking Bad Girl, I'm like, that's cool. And then I hear fucking Doctor Who is going to be Kilgrave. And I was like, okay, now you fucking sold me. And then we got the first image of him today as Kilgrave.
And then the first thing I said, take all my fucking money.
In all caps. That was one of the texts I got. So, now, when I zoomed in on him, Kilgrave, his eyes are normally what, red? He's like all purple with red eyes? Or something? I don't think they're purple. I think they're red.
I think they change colors when he's activating his mind control.
Because what was cool was, it seemed to me like they showed David Tennant kind of from the side. Like, his body is facing front, but his head's turned to the side. And if you zoom in on it, his eyes kind of look red. They don't look, you know,
it looked like he was
anything.
Wearing contacts for sure. You don't know exactly how they look, but it looked different.
Now, when I was talking to Christina about this earlier, actually, it just dawned on me one thing they could do that's really cool, because his skin was not purple, which a lot of people are like, what, the Purple Man's not purple? What the fuck? But
it would look ridiculous.
It would look ridiculous, but what if when he's using his mind control, if that's how the people under his control see him?
I mean, like if it's kind of like Batman Begins, where it changes once the hero talks and take. Yeah, that makes sense.
Wouldn't that be cool? They're probably not doing that. I just want to be clear, but I just thought that would be kind of cool.
They can go a lot of different ways. Well, like they could end up even making him kind of like Scarecrow, you know, where his mind control stuff is like drug related, you know.
Yeah,
and it totally fits in.
Power suggestion type thing.
Because like with Daredevil, they set up this whole tone of like. The MCU is the PG-13 side of things. This is the HBO side of Marvel that you only see here. So him being, you know, kind of like the runner of a drug cartel type thing, you know, fits in with the tone of the show.
Yeah, kind of like what was that character that Arrow had?
Oh God, I'm blanking on his name.
I was too.
Count Vertigo.
Yes, kind of like a Count Vertigo type character, just not as crazy.
Yeah, which
more sinister.
Dude, whatever the fuck, it's David Tennant.
Yeah,
like he could kill people with Teletubbies, and I don't give a shit. It's gonna be amazing.
Dude, he turns into a purple Teletubby and just fucking cuddles him to death.
And you know what I say to that? Emmy. So yeah, this launches November 20th. I will be asking off work for that day so I can watch all 13 episodes in a row.
Yeah, no, the more I've heard about this show, the more excited I've gotten for it. And that trailer, like I said, it served no purpose other than to show the fucking release date. But I am more and more excited for this, and this trailer really got me excited because it's a really well done trailer. The way it looks, the way it sounds, and I feel like it makes me feel like they're taking this extremely seriously, you know? That they're really putting effort in this. I mean, if a teaser trailer looked that good and was that cool.
Dude, okay, my big thing just with fiction in general is the villains.
Yes.
To me, something that, like, that's why Batman works so well, is because, like, Batman's, like, 7th best villain is better than most comic book characters' best villain, period. You know, it's just a ridiculous rogues gallery. And then, like, when you look at what they're doing with these Netflix shows, and with Daredevil, you've got Wilson Fisk, you know, played by D'Onofrio, and now you've got fucking David Tennant as the Purple Man. Like, this is like Jeff Crack. What's going on? And it's all rated R. It's dark.
Now, here's the other thing that's exciting about that was, I think we reported last week or the week before that they had said that Kilgrave's going to be developed just as much as fucking Vincent D'Onofrio was.
Take my fucking money.
So that means we could get, you know, D'Onofrio had one or at least one, maybe 2 episodes totally devoted to him. We could get that in this too. And didn't you tell me before that Kilgrave was a big enough villain that he even showed up in like Daredevil comics and stuff?
I believe his first appearance was actually in Daredevil.
So if they don't fucking kill him,
he can cross over.
He
could end up being the main villain of the Defenders, like when they team them up.
He could be like the mastermind behind it or something. And then, you know,
or dude, would be really cool is if when they team up the heroes, they team up the bad guys. So like D'Onofrio and Tennant.
That's what I was thinking. That's
cool.
The next thing I was going to say. Then I was also going to say that means there could be like, say, when Punisher eventually spins off.
Oh my god!
That, you know, there's someone in the shadows working things for maybe 1 or 2 episodes. You don't know what's going on, and then it's revealed that it's fucking Purple Man. Yeah. The sky is the limit. Yeah. As long as they don't kill him, dude, they have got him. They could throw a reference to him in the movie or show a picture of him in a movie. I mean, they can do whatever they want with him. As long as they don't kill him. Because when Marvel crosses over, fuck, he could show up in S.H.I.E.L.D. Who knows?
He might be a little dark for the flying car show, you know?
He kills Lola. That was his whole goal.
Yes.
Yeah, no. So, alright, Jeff. I will let you take this from here.
Why don't you do the honors?
No, you are excited for this news. I will let you have your moment.
You made me sound like such an asshole, but I'm... Okay. Speaking of David Tennant, we're going to move over to some Doctor Who news, and this was one of those that blew up Twitter.
There you go.
This was one of those that also blew up Twitter, and that is the news that... Should you spoiler tag this, even though it's like all over the fucking internet?
I would spoiler tag it.
Okay, quasi-spoiler tag, because this is a weird gray area. because we don't even know ourselves, but Jenna Coleman, the current companion of Doctor Who, her name is Claire Oswald, that's her full name, right?
Yes.
She has been reported that this will be her last season, and she will pretty much, for sure, not be in the Christmas special.
Yeah. She's supposed to be leaving for the Christmas special. It's interesting wording in the article because she is thought to have already filmed her final scenes.
That red flag.
Yeah.
When you in TV, in movies, anytime, I mean, Fantastic Four. when you see the word reshoot,
yeah,
bad things happen.
Yes.
Trank level things happen.
It just tranks after that.
So I'm really, really hoping that Jenna Coleman has been talking with him about this role and been open with Moffat and the Doctor Who guys to where they can kind of plan. Because what also upsets me is you haven't gotten to it yet, but in the Christmas special, the most recent one, they had a perfect, I won't spoil it, they had a perfect way to end her characters around the show.
They had a perfect way to end it at the end of season 8.
Yeah, and they even have, to me, an even better one in the Christmas special.
Really?
So this upset me in a way that, like, they had such a perfect moment to where if she was in the mindset where she could leave, just because if you remember, the big thing was that the season 8 was going to be her last one. I don't know if you were that into Doctor Who yet, but she had to kind of come back and sign back on for this season. So it's kind of,
I didn't know that.
It's kind of annoying for her to sign back on and then, 6 months later, film everything. Oh no, okay, thanks, bye, I'm leaving. That's kind of annoying. All I'm hoping is that Moffat had an idea so they could plan ahead, because I don't want reshoots to happen, because I don't want Fantastic Four to happen to Doctor Who. But okay, now that we've gotten the news out, we should say the role. She's going to be playing Queen Victoria. Is that who it was? Yeah, she's going to be playing Queen Victoria it was like a mini-series on BBC, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's ITV. It's called Victoria, and Queen Victoria, she assumed the throne at age of 18, it says here. So, which she doesn't even look that old, to be honest. I know she's like, 29? Yeah. But, so, yeah, that's good casting. I'll give them that. But no, it's based on a book. I'm sorry. It's based on Queen Victoria's diaries, and it's written. The script is written by a novelist, so it's not based on a book per se.
This is something you and I will never watch.
Probably not. But yeah, it's definitely it's interesting.
It's good for her.
Yeah.
Because we're in a couple minutes.
She's going from supporting role to lead.
Yes,
so.
and with that,
and fucking Captain America, she was like 2 minutes of screen time, a minute and a half of screen time,
maybe if that. So yeah, she's definitely trending upward for her. We're about to get into the nitty gritty details about Claire Oswald. I want her to be clear. I have no qualms with the actress. I think she's very good. I wish her the best. I think this is.
I don't buy that.
This is. I would fucking tell you, man.
I know you would.
Laurel on Arrow, fuck her, dude. She's awful. She needs to be off that show. Jenna Coleman, she's a good actress. I think this is a good move for her career. Like you said, she'll be a lead with it. I'm sure she got a gigantic pay raise, because Doctor Who is kind of notorious for paying them, hardly anything. It's kind of like, it's almost like, how CW hardly pays them anything to do their, like, it's kind of like that over there. That's the impression I've gotten from what I've read. So good, good for her. But we're going to delve into a little bit of a Claire debate. I'm going to clock it 4 minutes. That's how long we're going to devote to this.
Bullshit. You're going to have a 4-minute rant and I won't get a word in.
You are starting. Your thoughts on this, go.
Okay. So, I'm just going to start off by saying, and this is going to lose us our 2 listeners that we already have, I don't mind Clara. I like Clara. And I think she has some episodes that she's up there with Amy and Rory. Though, I mean...
Well, I just quit the podcast.
I don't see the big deal why everybody hates her so much. If anything, my issues were with the Doctor more than not the actor. Just the way they treated the Doctor.
It's funny, like...
You and I are polar opposite on this.
I have the same thinking, just with the people reversed.
Yeah.
Because I like the actress, and I should first start off by saying that I think the big influence on this is the way you were able to watch the show. And I'm not, negatively saying that your opinion, I think, is wrong.
Bullshit, I heard your tone.
I think it influenced the way... Because, okay, here's what happened to the people like me that were watching it week by week. When we get to season 7, the second half of it, we have just had, I won't go into details because people are, not caught up on it or want to watch it at some point, but we go through Heartbreak, the first half of season 7.
That's all you need to say to fucking spoil things, dude.
And, it's vague. And then we get to season 7, and all fucking Stephen Moffat does is run his fucking mouth about how awesome the Impossible Girl is going to be. Like, oh, you haven't seen anything like this yet. And then you watch an episode, nothing fucking happens. You wait another week, you watch another episode, she's still a boring character. They're doing nothing with her, which even you've admitted in season 7, she's just there.
Yeah.
So, when you do that...
Which isn't bad.
When you do that, it's not bad if you watch it over 2 days marathoning it through Netflix. When you wait a week after week for a couple of months of Stephen Moffat running his fucking mouth saying how awesome she is, it's just like with Laurel on Arrow. What have they done with Laurel on Arrow? Oh, you guys don't like her? She's gonna be fucking awesome next time.
I think that's what influenced me more than anything, because all I heard from you is that she is totally Doctor Who's version of Laurel. And I got into it, I'm like, this is nothing like Laurel.
In a way...
She's kind of charming, and she's not bad to look at. I'm fine with this.
In a way, the way she's used, in my opinion, is like Laurel. And
I'll change my name to Danny Pink.
The majority of people don't like Clara, and they didn't from the onset. So what he did... I'm going to move on to season 8. She's like the main focus of the entire season. So what I
thought was an interesting take.
What was the comparison between Laurel is... I mean, I'm going to spoil Arrow. Who gives a fuck? When Laurel becomes Black Canary... everyone already fucking hated Laurel, and then we actually talked about it, I think, on air in the review.
We did.
Why are you making her even more of a focal point?
We can't stand her, kill her. Okay, here's more Laurel. Here's 90%
and then not
Laurel.
Even more Laurel. She's a superhero now, and we killed...
She gets 20 minutes of boxing lessons.
I had forgotten about that.
And then she's out kicking ass, saving Arsenal's ass.
Oh my god, that's
when the episode before Arsenal was
before
better
I pop
Arrow.
A blood vessel. That's exactly what they did with Clara. Now it's to a different degree. I mean, I'm not going to say she's as bad as Laurel, but the way
you did,
the way times. I'm allowed to be hyperbolic. Okay, the way that she was negatively, received. And all right, fuck what I said. The way that I have another minute.
Well, I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker.
The way that they went about, you guys don't like her? She's gonna be fucking awesome this time. And then it's just like, like I said earlier, you got to streamline these. If you have to wait after a year of no Doctor Who, excited to see the new Doctor, and then it's like 6 or 7 episodes where it's like all Clara, who you're already kind of against. You're just like, dude, fuck Clara.
I didn't feel like it was all Clara, though.
I thought
I felt like they did that more with Martha than they did Clara.
I thought basically the entire season 8 boils down. It's like it's a giant Clara story than it is Doctor. Like, because like we talked about this before. The new Doctor, and you had pointed out, until the season finale, really didn't even get much development. Like, they didn't even really bother developing him.
Yeah, there was, I think, there's an episode called Into the Dalek that develops him a little bit, and then they kind of forget the Doctor exists until the finale, but I didn't see that as Clara's fault. It felt like the Doctor was always kind of there and not doing much to me. It didn't feel like it was Clara-centric.
I thought the way I saw it,
to some degree, the story always kind of focuses somewhat on the companions, but
I thought it was. I thought it focused. It focused enough on the companions in a moment to where, okay, just in general, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I thought it was mishandled because this is the first season with the new Doctor. He's already being in some fan circles being kind of negatively received just because he's older. Because, a lot of people wanted them to continue their path of, going younger and younger.
Which I don't understand.
Which I disagree with, too. I agree with you. But we should be, in that first season with the new Doctor, in my opinion, focusing more on the Doctor than what we got. And focusing on a companion isn't necessarily a bad thing in the scheme of things, but there were a couple of episodes where it was like Danny Pink, I think, got more development that season than the Doctor did. Like when you get right down to it.
I disagree.
You have that when they're in the school, and then the couple episodes after that, there was a moment of time where it was like a little romantic comedy with Danny Pink and Clara, and then the Doctor popped in as like a joke every 10 minutes. Like that happened. And I think that's ridiculous when we should be focusing on developing the Doctor. That's just my take. Now, if I had not seen them on a week-to-week basis, tuning in after a week of no Doctor Who and cool, Doctor Who's on. Oh shit, it's another fucking Clara episode. Waiting another week. Maybe Netflix could have changed my opinion. The way I watched it, I can't wait for a new companion because I'm done with her character.
I disagree.
I mean, that's... all I can say is I think the way you watched it really... And it's my fault because I set you up for Laurel 2.0, and then
I was totally prepared to hate her, and I was just in shock. I was like, she's adorable.
Now, for you to compare her to Amy and Rory, how fucking dare you, sir?
I said at times. I didn't say all the time.
How dare you, sir?
Even you admitted she has some episodes. There's some episodes where she's great. Now, you and I differ the most in the finale, but
we
can't go into that.
That would be like a podcast on its own on that debate.
And we can't go into that without spoiling.
I'm excited. Now you know what's going to happen is since she's leaving magically, the season 9 is going to be pulling me towards liking Claire, and as soon as I like her, she'll leave the show. That's what's going to happen.
At this point, I don't think you have the ability to like her, so I think you're safe. It's
just a shame because, like I said, I like the actress. I think she's very good. It's just my biggest beef is with Moffat. I think he really. Now I like season 8. It sounds like I hated season 8. There were a lot of people online fucking hated season 8. I think you actually.
It was the more boring of the seasons, I think, but I didn't see anything wrong with it.
It had. What it had was highs and lows. When it got, when it got really, really good, I think it was really, really good.
I think for me, it was either flat or high. I don't think it really had any lows. It was just either flat or high.
It had some episodes like the Moon one. Do you remember the Moon one?
Yeah.
That one was kind of I was checking my watch almost. Just kind of do something.
Yeah, the first half of that's pretty rough.
It's pretty slow.
But it was a much better Apollo 18 than Apollo 18
what it reminded me of was one of the Davies seasons that wasn't as good as the rest. Where
this was Moffat's Davies season.
It was a lot of one-offs. And I don't dislike one-offs. I just think that what I've come to expect from the Moffat Doctor Who seasons are those
season 6.
Yeah, those season-long arcing storylines. That with usually a big mind fuck. Now this one had a mind fuck without spoiling it. This one had a big mind fuck at the end that was fantastic that I loved. We won't spoil, but it was very good.
One is more the story arc in this one is done. He tried to do more like he did in season 5. I think the way Moffat goes to develop the Doctor, he has a different approach because season 5 was kind of one-off episodes, and then the camera would pan over and show you something that had to do with the main story arc, and that's the way 8 did. You'd have the main story, then at the end of the episode, it would scene change into something that had to do with the finale. But then you got season 6 and 7 had kind of season-long themes to them. And I'm assuming, if anything follows, season 9 and anything after that, as long as we have Capaldi, will be more like season 6 and 7 of, the Matt Smith stuff.
Have you seen the trailer yet?
No, I did not watch it yet.
Now, you can watch it. It's not one of those that gives away like all the best moments. I don't even think there's any dialogue. It's just imagery. Imagery is creepy, very dark tone. I'm super excited. And then it starts 2 days from now?
Yeah.
Our time of recording.
Yeah, so, it's I think here Central Time, it's like Saturday at 8 o'clock. BBC America.
I'm super excited for it to be back. And do you think, with one more question before we move on, do you think they'll kill Clara, or do you think she'll just leave?
I am almost expecting somewhere in the middle, to be honest with you. Not necessarily
purgatory.
I don't think they're going to full on like Donna her, but I expect something impossible to happen to the Impossible Girl, basically. You know, I think she'll be able to like move on, like living her life, but something's going to happen to her. The thing about the Doctor is the character of the Doctor is tragic. Everything about the Doctor since the reboot, you know, not necessarily reboot, but since they picked it up again in 2005, everything about him has always been tragic. So, I mean, there's even an infamous scene in one of the Matt Smith episodes where the TARDIS's computer system has a hologram that comes up, and when he's asking for help, and it's himself, and then he's like, no, show me someone I like, and then it switches to Rose, and then he's like, no, guilt, he's like, someone else, and then it's Martha, and he's like, no, still guilt, and then it's Donna, and he's like, no, really, not helping. Like, it's, you know, I think they're gonna add her to the collection of his guilt.
Or, you know, man, I really want you to watch the Christmas special, because once you get to the moment where they could have had like a really, you know, I mean, like, I'm saying, after bitching about her character for the last 25 minutes, it would have been a beautiful ending to her character, right? And man, it's just a shame. I mean, although it was kind of shitty how she's like, yeah, I'm coming back. No, not really. Bye. That
almost makes me wonder if something happened with this. Like, she knew she was getting it, and then they're like, nah, probably not, and then...
Maybe so. But yeah, we spent the last like 30 minutes on Doctor Who.
4 minutes, you said. 4 minutes.
It turned into like 12. That's not too bad.
That's better than what we normally do. But no, we go from, you know, divisive and depressing to something exciting.
Actually, I want to add one more thing.
Oh, fuck you.
I want to add one more final note to the Doctor Who thing. You know what's going to happen next, right? Next companion, I'm going to love, you're going to hate. We're going to be right back where we are now.
Probably.
That's exactly what's going to fucking happen. But yeah, go on with your next story.
No, you've already divided us again, goddammit. No, Nickelodeon has basically openly admitted that their current shit sucks. So
I think this is I added this just because I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yes. Because we've talked about Cartoon Network a number of times on this show.
I think the most recent episode we got into Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon.
Yeah. And then Nickelodeon has announced that they're launching a channel dedicated solely to their 90s cartoons.
The good cartoons.
So, kids, if you're listening now, you probably shouldn't be 1. 2.
Your parents have been watching too much Fear the Walking Dead.
2, you're finally going to get some good cartoons, because 90s was the golden age of cartoons. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're bringing back, All Real Monsters, Doug. Just those two alone.
I never got into Doug.
You might have been a little too old by the time it hit, but
Probably.
like I think I was the perfect age because I was pretty obsessed with Doug. It's one of those looking.
I did have a fixation with Quail Man though. I thought that was an interesting.
Have you ever looked back at like Doug was a weird fucking cartoon?
Yeah, it was.
Like a lot of the '90s ones. It's weird. Like they're strange looking back, but your 7-year-old mind just took everything in colors. You know what I mean?
But no.
They should just cancel everything other than
Rocko's Modern Life.
Fucked up.
Yeah. But that was 90s, and that was Nick.
Ren and Stimpy Nickelodeon?
I believe so. I believe the not good Ren and Stimpy was, but Ren and Stimpy nonetheless. Because it was MTV and Nickelodeon, right? It was the same cartoon, but MTV was the more adult version.
Did they do them simultaneously? I thought what happened was...
I don't think they did them simultaneously,
I thought what happened was Nickelodeon had the first rendition of Ren and Stimpy. It's totally unintentional. And it was one of those where it wasn't, obviously fucked up like they could do with MTV One, but it was like subtly, if you were an adult, you're like, how is this in a cartoon?
Right.
Which was also
Which, by the way, also one of the greatest Sega games of all time.
And I think Invader Zim, that might have been early 2000s, but that was also Nickelodeon, I believe.
Yeah, I never watched it.
That was another one of those where, like, and you still see people with, like, fucking Invader Zim t-shirts today. Like,
yeah.
it hit big with certain people that are, like, still obsessed with it. But yeah, they should just cancel all of their new shit and just rerun the 90s cartoons forever.
Just the 90s stuff.
Because what a bunch of flashy bullshit did they show on that fucking channel now.
I know. Any of them. Any of the cartoons today. Kids got nothing.
Poor bad. And then, like...
They wonder what's wrong with today's youth.
And then, like, they didn't...
It just turns into a philosophical argument.
And then they couldn't even turn to fucking, like, the live action... Because, like the live action shit they were exposed to was, like, Hannah Montana and other garbage like that. Like,
we know how that one turned out in the end.
But, you know, good on them for owning their own mistakes and then making this a thing. But, yeah. I think we're going to move on to our last section of news, and that is our gaming section. And... this was
confusing.
Yeah, confusing. It's just seriously like when I was reading it, my interest level kind of nosedived with each sentence.
Yeah, you kind of start out with, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty something."
Why don't you give them the details? You have it all in front of you.
All right, so Five Nights at Freddy's, which we have infamously done one Let's Play of.
High five.
Fist bump win. It's good. Scott Cawthon has said that his next game is Five Nights at Freddy's World. Not 5, World.
Wah.
So, Five Nights at Freddy's World, this I'm reading from IGN. Five Nights at Freddy's World will let players create RPG-style parties using what creator Scott Cawthon refers to as adventure designs of characters from the past 4 games and their existing variations: Classic, Withered, Toy, Phantom, and Nightmare. Despite the familiar characters, Five Nights at Freddy's will not be a horror game. I'm kind of on board until that last sentence.
Big no.
Okay, considering that this is basically Westworld, and you have built a fan base of horror games, how do you make it not horror?
And not even just...
and how are you playing as the animatronics?
And not even just...
and not, like, murdering kids.
And not even just horror games, but really niche-y horror games.
Yeah.
Very odd.
Yeah.
He also went on to later say something along the lines of the story of Five Nights at Freddy's concluded. But the story...
he also, by the way, something that we did not put in our notes, he also said a few days ago, a few weeks ago, I don't remember, that people have not found all of the Easter eggs yet in Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
Which, how the fuck do people even find time to dig into the lore when they're just, like...
Did you know that people that have dug down into the coding of the game have found an image and they don't know how to open it?
I remember hearing this vaguely.
Yeah. I'm really curious what it is. But... sorry, I just wanted to throw that in there before we got too far away from it.
It's just a JPEG of Rick Astley. The most infamous Rickroll ever. Yeah, so all he had to do to sell me on this was say, "You're on the other side, you're killing the kids." And I'm like, pre-ordered.
Jeff endorses child murder.
I'll buy the soundtrack to the game.
Be playing it out of the back of your like rusty old van that says free candy on the side.
I mean, he
which someone drove one of those through a neighborhood recently. Sorry, not to get off into real world news.
Yeah. I can't even run. It's just like, what was the thing he said again about the party? Do you remember that quote? I think it might have been on Nerdist, or was it IGN? It's something about like, gosh, I forget what the quote was. It was just very, very odd.
Yeah, I think it was on Nerd Tits.
Was it the other article? He said something about each character was being set up for a party. Go over it. I think you have it up on Nerdist in the next tab if you move over to it.
Oh, yeah, I do.
It will not be a horror game, but a role-playing game where you create a party using the huge selection of characters. You know, this... It sounds kind of cool when you think about it, you know, like picking a party of the characters you have available, but what the fuck are you doing? It's like No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
It's one of those where like...
Oh god, if we're just walking around cataloging children, you are from India.
That sounded fucking creepy.
You were Chinese. Like, what?
But yeah, it's kind of like No Man's Sky in that he's...
You are perfect. Come to the back.
Oh god. He's like going about selling it the wrong way to me.
Yeah.
Because it's just like No Man's Sky. Tangentially, they're saying this is some of the cool features, but your main goal, what the fuck are you doing? We need to have another No Man's Sky article pop up because I want to rant about that game again because I think that game is bullshit.
I know.
And I am always the person, not Ron, to always say, let's wait and check it out before we bitch about it. I have no qualms about saying that game is bullshit.
The game is total bullshit. You just fly around cataloging fish. That's all you do. That's the whole point.
Those mind-blowing fish physics.
that swim away from you.
What? Why is it... Have you ever noticed that it's not even just like one like every gaming company is obsessed with showing you fish physics. If we ever make a game company, the name of our company is going to be Fish Physics.
I am totally on board with this.
No one steal that. That's fucking copyright. Circa, there will be expletives, damn it.
Trademark.
But yeah, I think we've just fucking beat the story to death, so we're gonna move on to the next one. And speaking of
first off, or lastly, however you want to say it, he had originally planned to release a demo of the game by Halloween, but so far, due to the scope of the game, that's not going to be possible. So, but we should be having a demo within the next probably 6 months. But he has the characters done, is what one of these articles said. It was, I don't remember if it was Nerd Test or IGN.
We're going to start accidentally referring to that, not even intentionally anymore.
Tell your mom to look up something on Nerd Tits. Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there because there had been reports that, you know, coming Halloween, the first demo, and yeah, that's not necessarily true. He's fallen behind in his production. So, but yeah, so moving on, as you said,
with the next article,
best segue ever.
Speaking of being beaten to death, Bloodborne is getting a DLC coming November, and I don't know if it's known on the podcast yet if we've ever really talked about it, but I'm a giant fan of the Souls series, which Bloodborne is Dark Souls, but it's not at the same time. It's from the same creator and has basically the same physics to it, but it's all kind of tweaked.
Okay.
And I haven't played it because it's strange. I love their combat, but like the aesthetic of Bloodborne turned me off. Like it's kind of cool when you just look at it, but for whatever reason, it didn't grab me like the soul. Like maybe because it's not medieval fantasy, it's kind of like Victorian Cthulhu style fantasy, and that doesn't appeal to me as much as like the medieval aspect of it, I guess, with the Dark Souls games. But I probably will. I need to play Bloodborne before playing Dark Souls 3 because I'm going to regret that if I don't. Because apparently they have implemented in Dark Souls 3 a lot of the Bloodborne combat.
Oh, yeah.
Where if I don't have 30 hours of experience with the Bloodborne combat, I'm going to last like 10 seconds. Probably not going to go well.
Yeah, probably not.
But yeah, Bloodborne's going to get DLC coming November. Maybe, I doubt by then I'll be up to date on Bloodborne where I could come on here and talk about it. But yeah, for those of you out there big into Bloodborne, and the people into the Souls games, I mean, you know Jeff and Rage Light, they're fucking into the Souls games.
Yeah.
So yeah, look for that this November.
Basically, Rage Select is just Bloodborne,
Dark Souls, Bloodborne,
yeah.
Dark Souls, yeah. But also coming out this November, this is more near and dear to Ron's heart. StarCraft II: Legacy of the Void.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you take this one away because you
finally
are the StarCraft junkie.
Yes. So we're finally getting the conclusion to StarCraft II, which they broke down into 3 parts. They separated the campaign. It was Terran, Zerg, and now Protoss. Protoss is my favorite race, so this has been a very long wait.
Was StarCraft 1 set up like that?
No, StarCraft 1, I believe you start out... I think you go in the same order. I think it's Terran, Zerg, and then Protoss. But no, it's all 3 of them, and then Brood War, the expansion, brings in another 3 campaign like that. Okay. 3-part campaign, but all in 1 game each. This one, I mean, the campaigns were bigger, and the cinematics were more movie quality, and you know they did have a lot more production into the game, but to me it still wasn't enough to justify breaking it up other than to just build more anticipation for the next release
and make more money.
Yeah, ka-ching.
Because Blizzard needs more money.
Yeah, that's the one thing that they definitely.
I'm pretty sure behind the scenes Blizzard owns like half the planet.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. So I'm pretty excited. I have not watched the opening cinematic, which just released a few days ago, because I like to wait
till you launch the game.
Yeah, exactly. Because to me, that's just kind of part of the experience of starting a game for the first time is the opening cinematic. But they one thing that's not very Blizzard-like that they did was they had a trailer. Because normally their only trailer for a game is the opening cinematic. But they had a trailer that came out before, which is getting increasingly harder to find on YouTube now, because if you search for it on YouTube, you get a whole bunch of fucking commentary over the trailer rather than just the actual trailer.
Assholes providing commentary, they're the worst.
I know. It's fucking bastages. But there's some interesting things coming out with this. Now, first thing that's interesting is it's playable on its own. You do not have to own StarCraft II to play.
Good on you, Blizzard, because they very easily could have gone the other direction.
They could have. Now, what worried me about that, I've been waiting for the day that they start turning more anti-gamer gaming company like EA is, ever since they were bought by Activision and became Activision Blizzard. That day has not yet come. But I thought that this was it, because as soon as I heard that it was playable on its own, I was like, you bastards. It's an expansion, but it's not technically, so it's going to be $60.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Is it 40?
It's 40.
Okay, thank God.
At least as of this podcast, it is still $40.
Yeah, they easily could have
made it 60. I just knew that's what they're going to do. And why not? It's the final part of a story that they claim is 17 years in the making. So why not charge that extra $20, right? So, no, I was really worried about that, but they did the right thing, and it's going to be $40. But apparently it's playable on its own because they're taking the Stan Lee approach, or, how he famously said that every comic book you put out is someone else's first comic book.
It needs to be self-contained and inaccessible.
Yeah, so apparently they're looking at this as this is probably going to be someone's first StarCraft game. And they have introduced some new features into it, and they've made it so you don't need to own any of the other StarCraft games to play it, which I don't understand because the story is concluding, 2 games worth of story.
Well, it came, we recently ran through Diablo 3 cooperatively. I don't know shit what's going on. I still had fun though, just I like the gameplay.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not getting the full experience that it offers, but it's doable.
StarCraft 2, well, Diablo 3 is more of its own story thing though. It's more of its own thing. But StarCraft 2 picks up, it's a few years later, but it's more or less right where Brood War left off. Which was fucking painful because just the way Brood War ends, you're like, oh man, I can't wait for the next one, and then it's like 12 years later you finally get it.
Yeah, Blizzard's good about that.
Yeah. But one thing that really caught my attention among the new features, because StarCraft, here's the weird part for me, is I will play against friends, but I don't play against random people online. I just don't. I know a lot of people, in fact, probably most people that buy these games, I'm willing to say, don't even play the campaign. They just immediately go online.
StarCraft 2 specifically, I know, is one of the more often picked ones overseas.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the, I've heard a lot of the StarCraft 2 elite players in like Japan and Korea are like basically rock stars within the community.
But no, they did something interesting here. So if you're a campaign player like I am and you enjoy the story in it, what they have done to entice you to go online is co-op missions. So basically, you're each going to be a commander of a faction. And the way they word it, it sounds to me like you can be the same faction or different factions, allied together against an AI, but you have mission objectives to complete. So that sounds pretty interesting to me. That's totally different because normally StarCraft 2 is just about totally fucking wiping your opponent off the map in the most brutal fashion possible, which Zerg are infamous for because of just how fast they can rush. So, yeah, there's a few other features like apparently, but I don't really mention the other features because they didn't really. Like, they talked about some other multiplayer stuff, and I guess they also casually mentioned we have an Archon mode, whatever that means. I know what an Archon is. It's a Protoss unit, but I don't know what the fucking Archon mode is, and I guess they don't either because they didn't talk about it. So, but it has a few other game modes that are not in the game currently. So they're bringing a lot of new stuff to it. The biggest question that I have, though, I guess, is the November 10th, I guess, is when it comes out. But that's also Rise of the Tomb Raider and Fallout 4.
And I believe the next week is Battlefront. So
yeah,
November's loaded.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting timing. Now, I get that there's going to be a lot of PC players buying all of these games, but StarCraft 2 is the notable PC game here. The others are, more console-based. Rise of the Tomb Raider, fuck you. You're going to be Xbone only for the first year. So.
I think... was Tomb Raider Xbone only, or was it just kept away from Sony for a year? I will have to go back and fact check that. I don't remember.
I don't know. If it's on PC, it's probably not going to work either way.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
PC gamers are getting fucking screwed. So I guess that's StarCraft 2's strength. Is it's not
our game works. Come buy our game.
You mentioned Jeff from Rage Select earlier. He brought up an interesting point in one of his episodes recently. And that was, his quote was something more along the lines of, I don't understand what PC games problems are right now because the Xbox One and PS4 are basically PCs.
Yeah, they're x86 architecture, which is a computer.
Yeah. So
I was like, what the fuck are they doing?
So what is wrong? Why don't they work? And that was his point, was the consoles these days are more or less PCs. It should work. Day one. So,
they're still trying to get Arkham Knight working.
Yeah, they still. If you have Arkham Knight on PC, I am so sorry. I don't even have anything to fucking do with it, but I am so sorry. But yeah, no, I'm pretty excited for the story in StarCraft 2. I just hope it's not another cliffhanger for 12 years like they did last time. See, and you're about to get into StarCraft for the first time.
I was actually just about to ask you really quickly because we're running short on time. Now, I want to get into StarCraft. You said that one of the cool things about 2 is that it tells you the story of 1 while it's installing.
Yes.
Do I still need to play 1? Because typically, I don't go back and play older games because older, like, game engines and stuff don't hold my attention very well.
For me, the first StarCraft still holds up, and I actually still kind of like the way it plays better than StarCraft 2. But
from the story side of it, I will not miss anything really.
From the story side of it, probably not. You can probably read. They have like a presentation that you can click through while it's installing, as it takes it so long to install. On Wings of Liberty, which is part 1 of the base game for StarCraft 2. and it's Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Okay, that movie takes place 2 years after Final Fantasy VII, and in the special features, they clipped all the story parts out, and it's like a 30-minute episode of just the story moments from Final Fantasy VII. But the problem that you're probably going to have if you're actually interested in the story is the same problem that has in Final Fantasy VII, and that is it's all the story modes, all the story parts from the story mode, yes, but they're also all out of context. Like, they don't mean a lot to you. You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you remember off the top of your head how long StarCraft 1 would take to beat if I just beat the main story?
If you just breezed through the story, I mean, I don't think it would take you that long. They're pretty short missions. StarCraft 2 is a lot longer.
We talking like 10 hours, 20 hours? Like,
probably 10 to 15.
10 to, yeah, I can do that.
And then like they have cheat codes too that you could use to get through it even faster if you wanted to. Power overwhelming, black sheep wall, show me the money.
Yeah,
I still haven't fucking memorized.
It's always been a property that interested me because I've been wanting to play it for a while.
I just wish they would, make a fucking movie already.
Yeah,
animated movie, StarCraft or Diablo. Pick one. Pick both.
No, I want live action Diablo by Del Toro, dude.
Yes,
that would have been fantastic. Also, think like
if we got an animated movie from them, it'll be fucking Overwatch because it's already an animated movie.
I think a cool StarCraft live action would have been Neil Blomkamp, the guy doing Alien now.
Yeah,
well, like District 9.
I will tell you what you're gonna like about the Terran race is before Firefly existed, Firefly was the Terrans in StarCraft.
Just scumbag, mercenaries, smuggler type dudes.
Dude,
I love me my Han Solo type characters.
The Firebat is a flamethrower unit, and when his helmet opens in any of the cutscenes or in the little graphic at the bottom of the screen when you have the character selected, it opens up and smoke pours out, and he's got a fucking cigar in his mouth, and like it's just...
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And before we move on to the last couple of topics, is there anything else you wanted to add to the StarCraft 2 news?
This means nothing to you, but to anyone that plays the game, that fucking trailer ends with Zeratul of all people saying, "My life for ire. You sold me at that fucking moment in the trailer."
So you could have made up all of those names, and I wouldn't even have known.
Dude, no, if you know anything about StarCraft, that is fucking mind blowing.
But yeah, let's see. Speaking of names hard to pronounce, we've got a Nintendo story to run, and that is Tatsumi Kimishima. So that was actually
that's pretty good.
Pretty good attempt. He is going. Okay,
I feel like you practiced that in the mirror before coming here.
How did you know?
This is my big moment.
He was. I'm not going to try it again. It was just a one-time only deal.
Tatsumi Kimishima.
He was announced as the president of Nintendo, and what I found interesting about this is that this is basically being the POTUS in China and Japan, because he was named president of the gaming company for one term.
What does that mean?
They're so fucking serious about Nintendo that you have terms you're allotted to run the company. It's like, Jesus, dude. So, I mean, it's like if they don't have like a number one selling game, does he have to walk the plank at the end of his term? Like,
he gets impeached. Then he has to debate the meaning of the word is.
Nintendo. They never cease to amaze me. But the good thing about Nintendo, they're not the Kanazis.
They're not Kanazis, and because of one of his first statements, I already like the guy.
What was this? I don't think I heard this.
The Wii U was a mistake because it was too similar to the Wii, was what he said.
That was what okay, I'm behind this. He should get 2 terms.
I'm already... he should be up for re-election, goddammit.
I'm not going to vote in our actual election. I'm going to go vote for the Nintendo elections.
I believe in Tatsumi Kimishima.
I want a little, like, I voted Star Fox badge. That's what I want. All right, we've got one more gaming news, and that's going to be our episode for the day, and that is that, man...
Speaking of names...
PlayStation VR. Woo! No, that's not just the general name of our topic we're going to talk about. That's the fucking name they came up with for Morpheus.
Okay, you go from Project Morpheus, Project fucking Morpheus, as cool as that sounds, to PlayStation VR branding.
Hooray! You know what's also funny about this? The fucking what's their cable cord killer? Was it PlayStation View?
PlayStation View, yeah.
Yeah, that had like a little clever like spelling to it and everything.
Yeah.
It had like a cool name.
VUE, I think.
The fuck? PlayStation VR, really? Like, come on. I mean, I love Sony and PlayStation, but like, come the fuck on. I mean, if we're gonna give Microsoft shit, this is like this is Xbox One level dumb.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the HoloLens, but that's kind of a catchy name.
That's a much better name.
Yeah.
For damn the Oculus Rift. That's a cool fucking name.
I mean, if you want to change it from Project Morpheus, drop the project. Be Morpheus
1.0.
Yeah.
Done.
I mean,
I don't even know. Hey, the PlayStation Morpheus.
Yeah.
They could have even kept the branding.
Buzzword. Branding. That's our new thing, dude. Just branding. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Did it not scream like something Microsoft would do?
Yes.
Like my reaction to it. Now, I don't think it's as bad a name as the Xbox One.
Maybe it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and they're trying to come up with a new name, and someone was just like, yeah, what's in a name?
Just submit. But like I was saying about like when the Xbox One name got announced, I think I literally face palmed. I was like,
I think I pissed my pants laughing, dude.
Like
Xbox One, it's the third. Xbox One came before the 360.
And I saw the problem occur firsthand when I think it was one time I was either at Vintage Stock or I think it was GameStop.
All the best stories happen at GameStop.
Of course. I believe it was either like a little kid's aunt or like grandma came in to buy the kid Xbox games. And she could not understand what the guys were trying to tell her when she was asking for like Xbox One games. It's legitimately confusing if you're not in the know-how with gaming. The fuck would you... Oh, I'm still upset about like them. How stupid do you have to be to call the third fucking generation console the Xbox One? Fucking only Microsoft, dude. God damn, my blood pressure's rising. I like how our anti PlayStation shenanigans
turned into
Microsoft.
Well, they started it with their shitty ass names.
Freaking
PlayStation.
No, it is a dumb name.
Project Morpheus, as far as I know, the only thing that's changed is the name. And like I said, what's in the name?
This is probably more up my alley because I'm curious to check out some of the VR stuff. You're on the "It's all gonna fail."
It's all gonna fail, and we don't even fucking need it to begin with.
I think to some extent it is the future of gaming. I think in 50 years we are going to be doing nothing but virtual reality gaming. I don't know if this is the beginning of that.
I am on board if it's like the Internet and the Futurama episode.
How did that? I don't remember that one. How did it go?
Basically, it was like imagine out of body experience, but like in the internet. Like log on to internet, they put on a headset and gloves, and they like everything. You know the closest real world thing we have to it was the PlayStation Home. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
You're like walking around the virtual world, and there's like the mall that had all the games and stuff for sale and stuff. That's what it was.
See, okay. I think there's a very good chance this wave of VR fails, but I think we are eventually just thinking of technology 50 or 75 years from now, how could it not be virtual reality in some capacity?
Yeah.
Now, we talked about this before off mic a while back. What I think is dooming this current wave of VR is the price points they're trying to sell the shit at.
Like $400.
Why would anyone pay $300 for an Oculus Rift, unproven property, or a PlayStation VR for $350, or the HoloLens for $350, whatever price point they're at, when the Xbox One console is $350, and the PlayStation 4 is $400. How can you make that argument that you should buy that?
Yeah.
And if you can't make that argument for me or you, tech junkies, which already have the consoles, how are you going to break into the general population with
Especially when, who is it that has cardboard? Is that Google?
Yes.
Especially when there's fucking Google Cardboard out there. That is literally a cardboard device that you unfold and slide your phone into.
To me, the magical number, which isn't going to happen, and if any of them should, I think Oculus should, because they're owned by Facebook. And how many fucking millions of dollars does Facebook make every minute? It's depressing how much money they make.
Yeah.
Make that shit $185 or $200 even, and I think you have a legitimate shot to make it stick. If they launch all of these at $300 or $350,
I don't think you're ever going to get below $200 on it.
I don't think we're going to get below $275. I think what they're looking at is 300 is the magic number. No fucking way it hits.
Yeah.
No fucking way. If I'm going to, let's say we're talking holiday season and I'm going to buy, let's say I'm like a grandpa or a grandmother and I'm going to buy my grandson a new gaming console. Would I pay $400 for a PS4 that comes with a controller, maybe 2 controllers, couple of games? Or am I going to even consider the peripheral accessory that costs $300? Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
No one's going to buy it. The people who are going to buy it are like Jeff from Rage Select, who run a gaming website, who just can't help but check it out.
And the early adopters.
Yeah. I mean, it's floored me seeing some of the early reports on what they're wanting to do with it. But yeah, we're way over time me ranting again about
Jeff angry.
This is a lot of Jeff anger. Usually it's Ron rant about everything. I guess it was my turn.
Yeah, I'm just kind of here this time.
You all right, Jeff?
That vein in your forehead's looking pretty serious, buddy.
We can take you to the hospital, buddy.
You might have blown a blood vessel in your eye there. Yeah, no, I don't know. A lot of crazy shit this week.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
PlayStation VR is a dumb name. That's my final thought.
Puppies and kittens.
I need to go take my blood pressure medication. I'll be back.
So, well, I guess it's time to wrap it up. If you want to check us out some more, we got a YouTube channel. We've been talking seriously about doing more Let's Plays.
We hope within the next week or so to actually get one done.
Yeah.
Maybe this weekend.
Well, we ran into a few technical difficulties, but those are all taken care of now.
Yeah,
so.
Maybe even as soon as this weekend we'll be able to get some stuff recorded. Should we say what game we're wanting to do for the no one that's listening?
Yeah, since we're as topical as always, we go ahead and let them know.
We are going to check it out for sure at least once or twice, and potentially do a sequential for Dark Souls 1.
Yes, the Prepare to Die edition.
Appropriately titled.
Yes.
There will be death.
I have never played it. That is why Jeff is so excited for me to play it.
Yeah, we might.
He wants to see me throw my controller through my monitor.
I think we're going to be going through a couple monitors, at least 7 controllers. Yeah, it's gonna be good times for all. At least good times for Jeff. But search for us on YouTube. Like Ron was saying, you find us, just search There Will Be Expletives. You can find our channel. Please subscribe. You can follow more of our news. We occasionally throw some news up on Twitter and Facebook. The Twitter handle is at TWBE Podcast. You can follow us there. Facebook, it's facebook.com/TWBE Podcast. We're still on Stitcher.
Yep, we're still on Stitcher.
If you happen to be finding us there, you can subscribe. And is there anything I'm missing, Ron?
Give us a rating.
Yeah, go on. Give us a don't give us a good rating. Don't give us a rating.
Go rate us 5 stars, please.
Yeah, we need the extra attention. All right. Well, thank you for listening. I am Jeff.
I'm Ron.
We will catch you guys next week.
I don't know, I just thought it was lame. He went from Doctor Who to Jessica Jones. So to have it Jessica Jones to Doctor Who didn't make sense.
And then you're just like, it's just so simple because nothing simpler than, speaking of David Tennant, we're going to move on to Doctor Who because that doesn't make any sense.
That's not what I said, though. You fucked it up.